You're being attacked, words flying like daggers. Your heart is racing. And then, you do nothing. Wait, before you think this is about weakness, let me blow your mind with something dangerous. That moment when someone is desperately trying to destroy you with their words, and you just smile and stay silent. You've just activated the most lethal psychological weapon known to humanity. Here's what they don't want you to know. Your silence is their kryptonite. Picture a wild animal trapped in a cage, thrashing violently against the bars. That's them when you refuse to react. Meanwhile, you're standing outside that cage like a stone-cold emperor, calm, collected, untouchable. Marcus Aurelius faced the fury of entire armies. Yet he wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says." The Roman emperor understood what we've forgotten. Silence is sovereignty. But here's the psychological twist that will change everything. When you stay silent, you force them to wrestle with their own demons. Your quietness becomes a mirror, reflecting their chaos back at them until they're drowning in their own toxicity. Think of it like this. You're a mountain and they're a storm. The storm screams, rages, throws everything it has at you. But what happens to storms? They exhaust themselves. The mountain, it remains eternal. Every word you don't say is a victory. Every reaction you don't give is power flowing back into your hands. You become the director of their emotional movie, while they're just acting out their script. So, here's my challenge to you. What if I told you that in the next few minutes, you'll discover the exact formula to turn your silence into pure psychological dominance? Are you ready to become unstoppable? Number 1. Silence isn't weakness. It's your superpower. Someone just spoke harshly to you. Words aim to hurt. Your heart races. Your mind spins with comebacks. Every instinct scream, respond. But then, you do something unexpected. Nothing. You stay completely silent. In that moment, something powerful happens. Your calm becomes your strength. Silence isn't weakness. It's control. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful leaders, faced constant opposition, yet he wrote, "Silence is a source of great strength." True power often comes not from shouting, but from remaining calm and measured. Lao Tzu said, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." When you stay silent, you show confidence and self-control. Picture this. You are the ocean, vast, calm, unshakable. They are the storm on your surface, noisy, chaotic, temporary. The storm rages, but the ocean remains steady, enduring, victorious. The subtle power of silence. Your quietness reflects their energy back without aggression. Every reaction you avoid keeps your peace intact and leaves them to process their own emotions. Like a master chess player, every pause is strategic. They move frantically while you remain in control. Epictetus, once a slave who became a revered philosopher, taught, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Your silence is you choosing what affects you and what doesn't. When you choose silence from strength, not fear, it transforms into a form of power. You become the eye of the storm while the chaos around you fades. History shows the impact of mindful silence. Gandhi achieved incredible change without raising his voice. Nelson Mandela's years of enforced silence strengthened him beyond measure. Jesus faced accusations with profound calm that spoke louder than words. You don't need to respond to every conflict. Silence is not emptiness. It's fullness. It's your dignity, your self-respect, your inner fortress. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, you're not required to engage. Your silence preserves your power. And in that calm, you become untouchable. Number 2. Your silence is their kryptonite. The attack begins. Sharp words. calculated insults, pure venom designed to destroy you. Your heart races. Your fingers hover over the keyboard, ready to unleash hell. Every cell in your body screams for revenge. But then you discover something devastating. You simply disappear. Welcome to their worst nightmare. Your silence is their kryptonite. Think about Superman's greatest weakness, that green rock that instantly drains his power. Your silence works exactly like that. It's their emotional kryptonite, and they can sense their influence evaporating the moment you vanish from their radar. Epictetus, who survived slavery to become philosophy's greatest teacher, revealed this secret. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And sometimes, the most powerful reaction is no reaction at all. Picture a drug addict suddenly cut off from their supply. Panic, desperation, withdrawal. That's them when you refuse to engage. They're addicted to your emotional reactions, and your absence sends them into psychological free fall. Here's the psychological devastation unfolding. Toxic people are attention addicts. They crave your anger, your explanations, your frantic attempts to prove yourself. Every response you give, pure heroin to their ego. But when you disappear, you become their digital detox. Cold, brutal, necessary. Imagine a spotlight suddenly going dark on a desperate performer. Without that beam of attention, they're just screaming in darkness. Your silence is that darkness. They perform harder, louder, more desperately, but the stage remains empty. The audience, you, has left the building. Confucius taught this ancient truth. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Your disappearance isn't empty. It's loaded with power they'll never comprehend. Think about this. You're the ghost in their machine. They're frantically pushing buttons, pulling levers, trying everything to make you appear. But ghosts don't respond to demands. They exist on a different plane entirely. Now here's where it becomes psychologically brutal. Your absence creates a void in their reality, but not the peaceful kind. It's the terrifying kind that forces them to hear their own thoughts echo back. They start questioning everything. Why aren't they responding? What does this mean? Am I losing control? They'll stalk your social media for signs of life, screenshot old conversations searching for clues, create elaborate theories about your disappearance. Your non-presence becomes more consuming than any argument ever could. Aristotle taught, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. But your disappearance isn't passive. It's the most deliberate power move in human psychology. You're not avoiding conflict. You're transcending it entirely. Here's what makes your disappearance absolutely lethal. It's not hiding. It's strategic invisibility. You're not running away. You're ascending to a level they cannot reach. You're not giving up. You're giving them exactly what they deserve. Nothing. Every master of power throughout history understood this. Cleopatra conquered empires with mysterious absence. Steve Jobs created desire through deliberate scarcity. Einstein's greatest insights came from solitary contemplation, not heated debates. Your disappearance works the same way. It doesn't just frustrate them, it haunts them. While they're burning calories trying to locate you, you're recharging in peace. While they're screaming at shadows, you're building an impenetrable fortress of inner strength. Think of it like this. They are the noise, and noise needs ears to exist. But you've become selective deafness. You choose what deserves your auditory attention. They cannot disturb what refuses to listen. The devastating truth they'll never accept. They don't miss you. They miss the feeling of control they had when you were reactive. Your disappearance reminds them of a brutal reality. They never actually mattered to you the way they convinced themselves they did. So, the next time someone tries to drag you into their emotional hurricane, remember this. You are not required to attend every psychological circus you're invited to. Your absence isn't weakness. It's pure power. Your disappearance is their kryptonite. Vanish wisely. If this truth just awakens something dangerous inside you, if you can feel your own power crystallizing as you absorb these words, do this immediately. Share this with someone who needs to discover their disappearing act. Smash that subscribe button if you're ready to turn your absence into your ultimate weapon. Because while they're busy hunting for you, you'll be busy becoming unreachable. The next time they attack, you know exactly what to do. Vanish, and watch their power crumble into nothing. Number 3. When you don't react, they become trapped. They launch their attack. Vicious words designed to trigger you. Manipulation tactics crafted to make you explode. Your blood boils. Your mind races with perfect comebacks. Every instinct scream, fight back, defend yourself. But then you make a choice that changes everything. You don't react. And in that moment, something extraordinary happens. They become completely trapped. Welcome to the most sophisticated psychological prison ever created. And you're the warden. Here's what they don't want you to discover. Every toxic person operates from the same playbook. Step 1. Attack. Step 2. Wait for your reaction. Step 3. Use your reaction as ammunition for their next assault. But when you break the cycle by refusing to react, their entire system crashes. Socrates, who faced death with unshakable calm, taught us, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. But here's the deeper truth. When you know enough not to react, you know everything about power. Picture this psychological trap in action. Imagine a fisherman casting his line, expecting a bite. He throws out the bait. Insults, provocations, drama. But instead of a hungry fish taking the hook, there's just silence. The water remains perfectly still. No ripples, no struggle, no catch. What happens to that fisherman? He becomes obsessed with that motionless water. He changes bait, casts again, moves to different spots, gets increasingly frustrated. The fish he can't catch becomes the only fish that matters. You are that unwatchable fish. And they're trapped by their own desperation to catch you. Zeno of Cilium, founder of Stoicism, discovered this truth in ancient Athens. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak. But sometimes, the most powerful listening is refusing to hear toxicity at all. Here's the psychological trap unfolding in real time. Reactive people are predictably controllable. They follow scripts. Push button A, get response B. It's simple. It's satisfying. It feeds their need for control. But when you don't react, you become unpredictably powerful. You're no longer following their script. You've gone completely off their map. Think of it like a video game glitch. They're pressing all the right buttons: insult, provoke, manipulate. But your character isn't responding. The game breaks. They're stuck in an endless loop, frantically mashing buttons that no longer work. Now here's where the trap becomes inescapable. Your non-reaction forces them to escalate. They try harder, push further, become more desperate. But each escalation only proves your power over them. They're literally dancing to the rhythm of your stillness. Buddha spent years mastering this truth. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Your non-reaction, that's you refusing to even acknowledge the coal exists. Watch what happens to trapped people. First, confusion. Why aren't they responding? This always works. Then, frustration. They attack harder, more viciously, throwing everything they have at your wall of indifference. Next, desperation. They start making mistakes, showing their true colors, exposing themselves while you remain protected. Finally, exhaustion. They run out of ammunition. Their energy depletes. They realize they're fighting a ghost. Meanwhile, You're collecting every moment of peace they're trying to steal, growing stronger while they grow weaker. Marcus Aurelius, who faced countless enemies trying to provoke him, wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." Your non-reaction is you choosing consequences over causes. Think about this strategic advantage. Every time you don't react, you're building an invisible fortress. Each non-response is another brick in walls they cannot see but definitely cannot penetrate. They're trapped outside your castle, screaming at walls that don't echo back. History's most powerful figures understood this. Queen Elizabeth. I faced death threats with royal silence. Warren Buffett responds to critics by not responding at all. Oprah Winfrey built an empire partly by refusing to engage with toxicity. Your non-reaction works like psychological quicksand. The more they struggle to get a response from you, the deeper they sink into their own emotional chaos. Fighting someone who won't fight back is like punching air, exhausting and pointless. They become trapped in a prison made of their own desperate need for validation from someone. You, who has completely withdrawn from their reality show. Here's the beautiful irony. They think they're hunting you, but you're actually hunting them. Every non-reaction is you gathering intelligence about their patterns, weaknesses, and desperation levels. You become the scientist studying their predictable behavior. Sun Tzu taught, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Your non-reaction is that bloodless victory. The trap becomes permanent when they realize this. You're not ignoring them because you're weak. You're choosing not to acknowledge them because they've proven they don't deserve your emotional energy. That realization haunts them forever. So the next time someone tries to bait you into their drama, remember, you hold the keys to their psychological prison. Your reaction would set them free. Your non-reaction locks them in forever. When you don't react, they don't just lose. They become trapped in a game they can no longer play. If this strategy just revolutionized your understanding of power, if you can see your own trap-setting abilities awakening, share this immediately with someone who needs to become a master trapper. Subscribe if you're ready to turn your non-reactions into psychological masterpieces. Because while they're trapped in their own chaos cage, you'll be free to build the life they wish they could destroy. The next time they attack, remember, don't give them the key to escape their trap. Give them nothing, and watch them become prisoners of their own desperation. Number 4. Your silence is a mirror. They attack with words, cruel, calculated, vicious. You stand there, absorbing every blow. Your heart pounds, your mind screams for revenge. But instead of striking back, you do something devastating. You become perfectly still. Your silence is a mirror, and they're about to see themselves clearly for the first time. Here's what happens in that moment of reflection. They're no longer fighting you, they're fighting their own reflection. Think about it. When someone screams at an actual mirror, what do they see? Their own twisted face, their own rage, their own ugly truth staring back at them. Your silence works exactly the same way. Plato understood this ancient wisdom. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy is when adults are afraid of the light. Your silence is that light, harsh, revealing, inescapable. Watch the mirror effect in action. They hurl insults, expecting you to hurl them back. But silence doesn't absorb attacks. It reflects them. Every cruel word bounces back to its sender. Every manipulation tactic echoes in their own ears. Suddenly, they're forced to hear themselves, really hear themselves. The venom in their voice, the desperation behind their attacks, the pathetic need for your reaction. Your silence becomes their therapist, the brutal kind. It doesn't offer comfort or excuses. It simply shows them exactly who they are in that moment. Angry, needy, out of control. Rumi, the mystic poet, wrote, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself." Your mirror silence forces them into that uncomfortable wisdom. Here's the psychological breakthrough. Most people go their entire lives avoiding true self-reflection. They surround themselves with people who react, argue back, provide distraction from their own behavior. But your silence, it removes all distractions, no deflection, no debate, just them, face to face with their own actions. Think of it like this. They're used to throwing stones at moving targets, but you've become a perfectly still pond. When they throw their stones, the only thing that moves is their own reflection in the ripples. The mirror reveals their patterns. Why do I need this person to argue with me? Why am I so desperate for their attention? Why can't I handle being ignored? These questions haunt them because your silence provides no escape from self-examination. Here's where the mirror becomes merciless. Healthy people don't attack silent observers. They don't rage at mirrors. They don't demand reactions from peaceful people. Your silence exposes the sickness in their need for drama. It reveals their addiction to chaos. It shows them they're not fighting you, they're fighting their own inner demons. The beautiful truth about mirror silence: you're not trying to change them. You're not trying to teach them. You're simply existing authentically while they perform desperately. And in that contrast, your authenticity versus their performance, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Socrates taught the unexamined life is not worth living. Your silence forces involuntary examination. They can't run from themselves when you refuse to run with them. So the next time someone attacks you, remember this. You don't need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes you just need to be the mirror that shows them they're burning themselves. Your silence isn't passive. It's the most active form of truth-telling. Let them see themselves clearly. If this truth just reflected something powerful back to you, share this with someone who needs to discover their mirror power. Subscribe if you're ready to become the clearest reflection of truth in a world full of distortion. Your silence is a mirror. Let them face themselves. Number 5. You are the mountain. They are the storm. The chaos begins. Words like lightning bolts. Rage like thunder. Drama swirling around you like a violent hurricane. Everyone expects you to bend, to break, to be swept away by their emotional tornado. But here's what they don't understand about true power. You are the mountain. They are the storm. And mountains don't negotiate with weather. Picture this. A massive storm approaches an ancient peak. Winds howling at 200 miles per hour. Rain lashing like bullets. Lightning splitting the sky with pure fury. The storm believes it's unstoppable. It's destroyed houses, uprooted trees, sent humans running for shelter. It approaches the mountain with absolute confidence. But what happens? The mountain doesn't even notice. That's the power you possess when you understand your true nature. Lao Tzu, ancient master of wisdom, taught, water is fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock which cannot yield. But he also knew this truth. Some things are meant to be rocks. Some are meant to be mountains. Here's what makes you mountainous. Storms are temporary. They rage for hours, maybe days. They exhaust themselves with their own violence. But mountains have stood for millions of years. They've watched countless storms come and go like fleeting tantrums. Your stillness isn't weakness. It's geological strength. Your calm isn't surrender. It's ancient wisdom solidified into unshakable form. Watch what happens to storms against mountains. First, they crash with full force, expecting total destruction. When the mountain remains unmoved, they try different angles of attack. They circle around, looking for weak spots that don't exist. Then comes desperation. The storm throws everything it has. Harder winds, colder rain, more violent lightning. But every attack only proves the mountain's superior power. Finally, exhaustion. The storm burns through its own energy. It grows weaker, it passes. And the mountain? Still there, still eternal. Buddha spent years learning this mountain wisdom. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. Your mountain nature cannot be given to you. It must be cultivated from within. Here's the psychological geology. Storms need movement to survive. They feed on reaction, on things that bend and break. But when they encounter something absolutely immovable, they lose all their power. Your mountain silence becomes their kryptonite. They cannot uproot what has roots deeper than their chaos. They cannot shake what is fundamentally unshakable. The beautiful truth about mountain people: they don't fight storms, they outlast them. They don't argue with weather, they transcend it entirely. While storms rage at ground level, mountains exist in higher altitudes where the air is clear and peace is permanent. Every storm that fails to move you only proves your mountain nature. When people realize they cannot shake you, cannot provoke you, cannot make you react to their weather patterns, they begin to respect the mountain. Some even seek shelter in your strength. Here's your mountain meditation. Next time their storm approaches, remember, you are not built to bend. You are carved by time itself to be unbreakable. Their temporary chaos cannot touch your eternal stillness. You are not just any mountain. You are Everest, untouchable, unconquerable, unmovable. If this awakened your inner mountain, share this with someone who needs to discover their geological power. Subscribe if you're ready to stop being moved by every passing storm. You are the mountain. Let the storms rage. You'll still be standing when they're gone. Number 6. Every word you don't say is a victory. They're baiting you, pushing every button, saying things designed to make you explode. Your fingers hover over the keyboard. Your mouth opens to unleash hell. The perfect comeback sits right there, ready to destroy them. But then you stop. You close your mouth. You step back. And in that moment of restraint, you just won your first battle. Every word you don't say is a victory. Think about warfare. The greatest generals throughout history understood this. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every provocation deserves a response. Strategic silence wins more wars than reactionary combat. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, "The supreme excellence is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Your unsaid words are that supreme excellence in action. Here's the victory scorecard most people never see. Victory number 1. You kept your dignity intact. Every word you don't say in anger is self-respect preserved. Victory number 2. You maintained your energy. While they're burning calories trying to provoke you, you're conserving power for battles that actually matter. Victory number 3. You controlled the narrative. By not responding, you refuse to play their game by their rules. You become the game. Victory number 4. You expose their desperation. People who need your reaction are already losing. Your silence makes their defeat visible. Epictetus, who knew real battles as a former slave, taught this wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But here's the deeper truth. Sometimes the most powerful reaction is no reaction at all. Watch these victories stack up. Each unsaid insult is a character victory. Each swallowed comeback is a wisdom victory. Each moment you choose peace over proving a point is a maturity victory. They're fighting for your attention. You're fighting for your inner peace. Guess who's winning the more important war? Think of it like a military strategy. They're throwing everything they have at your fortress walls. Cannons of criticism, arrows of accusation, battering rams of pure hatred. But your fortress? It's not even responding with return fire. It's just standing there, unshaken, unbreakable. Every attack that fails to move you is proof of your superior construction. Here's the beautiful mathematics of unsaid victories. 1 word held back equals 1 point scored. 1 argument avoided equals 10 points scored. 1 day of complete silence from toxic people equals victory royale. Gandhi understood this victory formula perfectly. He brought down an entire empire not with weapons, but with strategic non-engagement. Every word he didn't say to his oppressors was a nail in their coffin. Your unsaid words work the same way. They pile up like compound interest. Each day you don't react, you're building something they can't see but definitely feel. Your unshakable power. The scoreboard at the end of the day. Them. Exhausted from trying to provoke you. Energy depleted, dignity damaged. You, peaceful, powerful, victorious. Here's your victory strategy going forward. Before you speak in anger, ask yourself, will this word make me stronger or weaker? Will this response elevate me or diminish me? Will this reaction be a victory or a surrender of my power? Every word you don't say is a vote for the person you're becoming versus the person they're trying to make you. Choose victory. Choose silence. If this battle strategy just changed your approach to conflict, share this with someone who needs to start collecting victories instead of collecting arguments. Subscribe if you're ready to become undefeated in the only war that matters. The war for your own peace. Every word you don't say is a victory. Start winning. Number 7. Silence is sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius knew this. They're demanding answers, explanations, justifications, your defense, your reaction. And you? You give them the most powerful response in human history. Complete silence. Silence is sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius knew this. Picture the most powerful man in ancient Rome. Senators plotting against him, enemies at every border, betrayers in his own circle. Yet Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "Silence is a source of great strength." But here's what the emperor really understood. Silence isn't just strength. It's absolute rule over your own kingdom. Think about what sovereignty actually means. A sovereign nation answers to no one, explains itself to no one, justifies its decisions to no foreign power. It operates from complete self-authority. Your silence works exactly the same way. When you refuse to respond, you're declaring independence from their emotional dictatorship. You're saying, "I am my own empire, and you have no jurisdiction here." Marcus Aurelius faced the ultimate test of this principle. Imagine commanding legions while conspirators whisper poison in your ear. Imagine holding an empire together while critics question every decision. Yet he chose sovereign silence over reactive chaos. Here's the psychology of true sovereignty. Kings don't explain themselves to peasants. Emperors don't justify decisions to rebels. Sovereigns don't react to subjects. When you break silence to defend yourself, you're essentially saying, "You have the right to judge me. Your opinion matters. I recognize your authority." But sovereign silence sends a different message entirely. You are irrelevant to my inner kingdom. Your words carry no weight in my court. Watch what happens when you claim this sovereignty. They escalate, attack harder, demand responses, but every demand they make only proves your power over them. Subjects always need attention from their rulers. Rulers, they need nothing from subjects. Marcus Aurelius understood this dynamic perfectly. In his meditations, he wrote, "How much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says." The emperor wasn't avoiding trouble, he was ruling from above it. Here's where sovereignty becomes dangerous. Your silence creates a power vacuum in their world. They're used to controlling narratives, steering conversations, provoking reactions. But sovereigns don't participate in games they didn't design. Think of it like this. They're shouting at a mountain. The mountain doesn't explain itself, doesn't justify its height, doesn't defend its position. It simply exists in magnificent indifference while storms pass around it. The brutal truth about sovereign silence. It exposes everyone's true position in the hierarchy. Those who need your response are beneath you. Those who demand your attention are dependent on you. Those who cannot handle your silence are powerless without you. Marcus Aurelius faced armies of enemies, yet he remained internally untouchable. Why? Because he understood that external chaos cannot disturb internal sovereignty. Your silence operates on the same imperial principle. Every word you don't say is a royal decree. Every reaction you withhold is an act of rulership. Every moment you remain unmoved is proof that you govern yourself completely. This isn't about being cold or cruel. Sovereignty is about self-respect at the highest level. It's choosing dignity over drama, authority over explanation, empire over chaos. So the next time someone demands your response, remember what Marcus Aurelius knew. Emperors don't explain, they simply rule. Your silence isn't absence of power, it's the purest expression of it, ready to claim your throne. If this awakened your inner emperor, smash that like button to declare your sovereignty. Share this video with someone who needs to discover their royal silence. Comment below and tell us about a moment when your silence proved more powerful than any words could have been. And if you're ready to master the art of sovereign living, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're creating an empire of content that teaches you to rule your own kingdom. Silence is sovereignty. Rule accordingly.